People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People of 7 on Twitter and YouTube, people are elsewhere on the internet. My blog is located purplebutterfly-people.blogspot.com. My soaps, Purple Butterfly Soaps, located purplebutterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. And I'm here to hem these gorgeous pants that have like a mid ruffle. My daughter has an event tomorrow, and she's going to be wearing these pants. Aren't those gorgeous? But there's one problem. Toby is 5'4", and these pants are a full 6 inches too long. That's the bottom of the pants. These are actually too long for me, and I'm 5'9". So I'm going to hem them up and take you with. But first I have to reverse all of these pins that I put here. So that way when I sew, I don't have to worry about the little heads of the pins getting in my way. Oh, I need my table. Hold on 1 second. One good thing about having a sewing machine that's made for quilting is it has a little table that has a 13-inch ruler attached to it. There. And it also gives you like a surface to work with. Now, that's gonna be removed because I'm going to be working on the sleeve arm format since this is a finished pair of pants. So that will allow me to work in a circle without having to, you know, take the entire pair of pants apart. And I had her stand for me while I put the pins in so that way I can get the right height. And she goes, do I have to do the other side too? I was real tempted to giggle. And I said, nope, this is good. Yeah, the only way I would have to measure both sides of the same leg instead of just measuring would be if one leg was drastically shorter or longer than the other. Otherwise, it's just not necessary. Right at the 13-inch mark. So I could take that off. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. I gotta change out the thread because otherwise there'll be a great big orange seam, and this is a blue dress. She don't want orange as the seam. I'm real sure. This is a thread I used when I made the Bingo's pajamas and the Bingo's house shoes. So, yeah. I'm well hydrated. I had something to eat. I even had snacks. And it's going on dinner time, which means I might stop to eat because I don't sew on an empty stomach, but I'm not hungry at the moment. I don't soap on an empty stomach. I don't do anything that requires concentration on an empty stomach. I'm one of them people, I get hangry. Okay, now kick out these house shoes. And self-threaders, gotta love that. I have pink, yellow, orange, red, brown, every color thread on the planet except navy, which I don't understand why I didn't pick up navy. I even got black, but yeah. So let's now take this through here. Up and around, then down. Then thread the needle. First, let's thread the bobbin. And there's a little piece hanging off the bobbin. I'm going to trim that as soon as I figure out where I put my scissors. Okay. Well, it's going to be on the inside, so it's not going to really matter. But I know me, it's gonna bug me. So we'll come over here and snip that right off. Yeah. It's just the lead thread that I threaded the bobbin with. It's not actually needed. Yeah, there we go. Now what I'm gonna do is match the other side with this side, so that way they're the exact same length. And then I'm going to sew them up. I really should do this inside out, but with all these pins, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the sleeve arm. Let's match that seam. Find the other seam. And match it. Little trick I learned from my mom. The middle. And this side too. There. And then put a pin in between each of those 4 points. So that way it doesn't have a chance to buckle or ravel or anything like that. Oh, excuse me. There. Now I'm going to take this and measure the length. Six inches. And this one. Six inches. And that's how you get two sleeves or pants legs the same size without having to pin both pants legs. As long as you got the pin length for the first leg, all you gotta do is match up to the second leg. Yep, yep. And if you don't believe me, there's the proof. Those pins are at the exact same spot. Well, hold on, need to hold it even. Look at this itty bitty waistline. I remember when my waist was that teeny. Everybody always thought I looked malnutritioned. See? They're the same length. That's one and that's the other. And I did put the hem just a little bit longer, just in case that measurement was off, so that way I can tweak it, as it were. Now, let's let this side hang out of my way. This is the original side, so we're going to do that one first. But I'm going to start at the seam, so that way I can hide my start and stopping point. Now, this fabric is very slippery. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to gather it here and place it there. and I got my walking foot down so that way I can get right up on this edge. Push the walking foot guide in. Yeah. Now in the meantime, let's choose a hemming pattern, or stitch rather, or a blind stitch so that way it won't be seen. Number 8. Okay. Oh, it's already on 8. I figured that way because 8 stretches. Well, actually, let's go with number 6. Yeah. Max stretchability is what we're after. Okay. What would be easier since that wants to travel so much would be to just move the entire sewing machine over. Well, let's move this picture out the way first. Nothing breaks on my watch. Yeah. Stuff can fall down, but it can't break. There. Hey. Missing seam ripper. What else is under here? Oh! That's the butterfly Leslie gave me. Told you I'd find it. Months and months later, but still. Now, let's get this cracking. Take that house shoe off again. Get this exactly even. There we go. Oh, I didn't actually thread the needle. It's not trying to go through there. Everything on this machine is automated, including the threader, and that threader sometimes drives me bats. But as you can see, I still threaded. I just did it manually. There we go. And that's why I had the needles going vertically, because otherwise the ball of this needle, the pin rather, would have been headed into my sewing machine, which is what we don't want to do. So yeah. Let's lift that up. Make sure that's nice and flat. I got it right on the edge there, So the walking foot is guiding the fabric in right on this edge. So all I gotta do is feed the stitches. I might adjust that seam to be smaller a little. But it's a blind stitch and it's almost invisible, so I'm not really worried about it. This large excess fabric is driving me back though. I don't want it puckering under the work. Want it nice and straight. Man, that's nice. Let's test it. And it still stretches. Chose the right stitch for show. Oh, dust. Hold on. She's wearing this tomorrow. Last thing she needs to do is go to a dry cleaner's. There's no time for all that. Yeah. I'm surprised how many sewing tricks I remember from all the lessons that I ignored that Mom gave. Her passion was sewing, my passion was not. But apparently I picked up and caught on and retained some stuff along the way. See, my brain, I don't sew for fun. I sew to attach one piece of fabric to another piece of fabric, to repair, to hem. I don't sew for the sheer joy of it. But I'm apparently real good at it. Now, I do quilt, and I have learned to quilt on a machine instead of by hand. But that's different. To me, that's not sewing, that's quilting. Which is why I bought a sewing machine specifically made for quilting. Okay, let's match up that seam. And see, that's a good thing about a walking foot. You don't have to have your hands all up in here. The walking foot literally walks along the fabric and it serves as your hand doing all that. I'm just trying to pucker. We're not going to let it. Oh, the smoothness of it all. And I'm done. Let's backstitch that. It always does backstitch in such a weird fashion. It literally slows the machine down to nothing. Okay. Well, that's one leg. I told her it would take me about an hour. It's only been 25 minutes, and that includes threading the machine and everything. And now we'll do the other leg. But see how long those were? It's almost funny. Okay. And now I know why I didn't go ahead and buy navy thread. Navy and black, when it comes to thread, can you see black? It literally disappears next to it. So yeah. Now let's do the other one. But first, I'm going to put on my house shoes, stand up, double check my length before I commit the other side to the same, because we want to make sure they're absolutely even. At least have one side the exact same length as the new side. See, this one's already committed, so we just gotta make sure this side is the same as that side. Yep. That way there's no oopsies. We don't like oopsies when it comes to sewing, when something has to match the other. And I just found my long lost thimble too. Oh, that cracked me up. Now let's gather that again. Set it up in the machine. Make sure all this excess is flat, so that way it won't pucker and buckle while I'm working on this. Yeah. Line it up on that edge, which is perfectly 5/8 of an inch with the walking foot's guide. And smooth it, smooth it. And go. Keep forgetting about that seam. I should have started. But it's all good. Okay, pin. You've been released. Continue on. Smooth it. Puckering. I know a real easy way to fix that. Put a pin at the start of the pucker, and then hold the other side of the pucker, stretch it, pull it on this side, and go. And now Now the pucker is no more. Man, that was smooth. Okie dokie. When I use my mom's Singer, same stitch would give me issues every time. But this is her brother. Mom could make Singers sing, and every time I try to work with a Singer, it just gave me grief. But every time I've ever used anything by brother, from typing machines, or typewriters as they're called, knitting machines, sewing machines, whatever, if it's a brother, it worked. If it was any other brand, grief. So I said, if I ever bought a sewing machine, I'm gonna buy a brother. When I brought the sewing machine in the house, Mom went, "That's your sewing machine, huh?" Literally, that was her face. "That's your sewing machine, huh?" It's like, yeah, it's different from yours. See, you like Singers. I like brothers. Okay, brother. But when she seen that I was willing to sew on it all the time, she left that conversation alone. Because her passion that she was trying to share was the sewing, not the machines that I sewed with. Okay, we're back to that seam. So let me make sure that it's flat and matching. No puckering. Get my hand back here so I can pull it through when it gets to that triple layer of fabric. Well, quadruple layer of fabric. 2 on this side, 2 on that side. So yeah. I knew it was gonna do that. Did I call that a what? That's also why I put the pin there, to remind me to move it, move it, move it. Okay, and now. That's the only thing I don't like about working with things that are already made. You come across a seam like that, and sometimes it wants to cooperate, and sometimes it wants to say, "Hey, I'm trying to help you out." But once you zip past that part, you're golden. Now, you smooth this fabric out. There we go. Gotta love a walking foot. Now, when I first got this machine comes with several different feet and the walking foot and all that, and I couldn't figure out how to use the walking foot. I was like, what's going on here? So I went to Brother's own website, and it gave all this general stuff, but it failed to mention you have to remove the shank and put the walking foot in place of the shank, because it has its own shank attached. If you didn't know that, you can't actually get it to actually attach. So I'm sitting here going, well, that's not helping. I went to, well, there's a sewing group on Facebook that's Brothers Sews and all that. And they're like, just attach the walking foot. I said, yeah, that's the problem. How do I do that? My machine came with it. It's like, okay, but you're the representative of Brother Sewing Machine Company. So I typed in how to install a walking foot, of course, on YouTube. And it told me, it's like, first remove the shank, and then this person zoomed in their camera so you could see what the shank was, so forth, so on. Come to find out, I was removing just the presser foot, not the shank. So, yeah. So I had to save that with the last presser foot I used, because yeah, if you ever want to switch back, that's going to be important. But for now, and for most of my quilts and for, well, stuff in general, I have just been sticking with the walking foot. The yarn busted right there. Okay, well, thread rather. I'll just sew till I get back to that point, so that way I don't have to worry about it, and that way there won't be a gap. So let's finish this up. Smoothness, we need smoothness. What I'm doing is I'm smoothing the fabric, that's SS, out so that way it's not puckering under the fabric. But it's 6 inches, so basically I'm just, you know, back to the start. Now, let's go to where that seam is, because apparently I started before the seam. So I'm just going to sew till I get to the seam, and that'll be my ending. And then back stitch. There we go. Remove needle. And 37 minutes. Yeah. When I tell something's going to take me an hour, I mean it's going to take me an hour. Or less. Yep. Now, check my work before I cut off the ends. Well, first I gotta make sure I match up. Yeah, there we go. Exact same length. Ta-da! Oh, let's fold that hem down so you can see. Check that out. This side, this side. Now all I gotta do is trim it right there. But since she said she didn't know if she wanted me to cut it yet, I'm going to do a bar tack stitch here, 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 and here. So that way she could try it on, see how it hangs, and then if she's satisfied with it or wants me to make any modifications, I can, and then go from there. But anyway, I'm going to tack that right at this seam. Well, first I'm going to smooth it so it hangs to the same point. And that's really when you do stuff from the inside out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip stitch it down with a blind stitch, so that way nothing's cut. If she wanted to release the pants to their full length, I did use a stitch that's specifically made for basting. So yeah, and then she goes, nah, go ahead and cut that off, then I can put the permanent stitch back. It's invisible anyway, so you know. I get to see what it looks like. See? So for this bar tack stitch, caught more fabric than it needed to. So yeah, there we go. Now you can see the difference in the hem and the other leg. That was 6 inches too long. So that's how it looks now. These pants are fabulous. Go ahead and bar tack this. Now, she said go ahead and cut it. This will become a scarf that she could wear on her head, but she didn't give me permission to do that, so yeah. We're going to do it this way. So, I'm going to tack it. One seam. And the other seam. Smooth it, smooth it, smooth it. And now I can go eat my dinner. Yep. Maybe get an appetite. Because I had my snacks. Yeah, yeah. And I had some peach tea. And then I watched a couple of movies. So, yeah, not actually hungry. Now, hope I don't drop her stuff on the floor. So let's line that up so that way you can see. Ta-da! That's about as perfect as I'm going to get them. This has been P+7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps locate PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Bye now. Toby, they're finished.